Hello and welcome to Module 7 for ED 5840, Univariate Quantitative Research and Education for the spring 2026 semester. So I'm already in Module 7. We'll get going here. Photo I'm sharing, I took this over a decade ago near Rexburg and also near a small town called Teutonia, Idaho. And this is looking at the Teton Mountains, Grand Tetons there in the middle, looking from Idaho east towards Wyoming in late winter, it was early March of 2013. So let's go into Module 7. And Module 7 introduces the analysis of variance ANOVA procedure. An ANOVA is used when it is necessary to compare three or more groups. It can also be used for comparing two groups, although in that case, it is more common to use a form of the t-test. Like the t-test procedures, which we just covered, which we have examined, there are various versions of the ANOVA procedure. The first two we will examine are associated with between subjects design in this module and within subjects design, the next module. For this module, we focus on the one-way between subjects ANOVA procedure. The ANOVA procedure produces an F statistic. In the same way as we use the T statistic and compared it to the T critical score to make a decision, we use the F statistic and compare it to an F critical score to make a decision. The table used to look up the F critical value is called the F table. Unlike the t-test, the ANOVA procedure is a two-step process when a significant finding is obtained. First, compare the variance of all groups to determine if a difference exists, this includes calculating the F statistic and comparing it to the F critical value. The result of this analysis will not tell us where the differences are, but it will tell us whether a difference exists between the groups. Please remember, we are usually working with three or more groups. If no difference is found, we stop and summarize our findings by indicating that there is no statistical difference between the groups examined. If a difference is found, then we proceed with the second step of the ANOVA process called a post hoc test. The post hoc test allows us to examine differences between pairs of the groups examined, pairwise comparisons, and to identify where the differences are. There are different forms of post hoc tests. The two we will address are Fisher's LSD, which is a liberal post hoc test, and Tukey's HSD, and this is more conservative than the Fisher's. Effect size can be determined with an ANOVA in a similar way as with t-tests. We look at eta squared and or omega squared for that purpose. Remember, it is important to report an effect size with any statistically significant finding. Compared to the t-test procedures, the calculations become a bit more involved with the ANOVA procedure. Although we will develop basic skills and knowledge of these calculations, the use of SPSS or a good online statistical calculator can be very helpful in doing this for us. So let's go ahead and we'll get in here. Here are the activities. You are watching the introductory recording. Then read Chapter 12 from the Statistics for the Behavioral Sciences. Chapter 12 is the analysis of variance one way between subjects design. And then there's also the supplemental PowerPoint, which I've uploaded here, Chapter 12. Then I've got recordings from YouTube for the various topics in this module. The first one is an introduction to ANOVA. Second one is one-way ANOVA. Third one is one-way between subjects ANOVA. And then I've got a fourth one specifically on how to use SPSS for one-way ANOVAs. I've also uploaded the answer keys for the t-test practice data sets, and the answers are in red. So please compare what you came up with to the answers. And that's for the one sample t-test, 2 independent sample t-test. There you go. And the related samples t-test. And then also a reminder, the quantitative research assignment number 1 is due March 15th. And here it is. And I provided a data set to use. And then post your module reflection. And I have posted mine. And the suggested completion for Module 7 is March 8th. There will be another one with the suggested completion of March 15th. And then there will be a break for but for spring break. And then the suggested completion dates will pick up after the University of Idaho spring break. And also, as we get into Module 8, we're close to the midterm. Please check your grades. Please check the points that have been posted. If anything is missing, please let me know. And that concludes the introduction and instructions for Module 7 for ED 5840. Take care, and I'll see you next time.